Hello friends, I am here to discuss about absurd theatre, the conventions of absurd theatre. The topic of absurd theatre has been of immense discussion. People are discussing absurd theatre since 1950s. With the arrival of a great play or a very important play like Waiting for Godot, this concept of absurd theatre has been taken up for discussions at various levels. I am here to discuss only the preliminary aspects of absurd theatre. Regarding the concept of theatre, let us first discuss theatre first and then we will pass on to absurd theatre. There is a radical shift starting from 1950s regarding how to approach theatre. What we have to understand here is, in a theatre there are four walls, and if you remove a wall, what you have is, or what you see inside is actually some living specimens of people or enactment of characters, etc. So the fourth wall was a great idea or a convention that was going on. But with the arrival of absurd theatre, there is a total change, because there are lots and lots of features which are added to the concept of absurd theatre. The first one, I should say, is there are no recognizable characters. I am speaking all this with the reference of Beckett's play Waiting for Godot. There are 5 characters, maybe we can make it 6 if the messenger boy, if you take it as 2 different characters. Of the 4 major characters, Estragon, Vladimir, Ozu and Lucky, if you look into these characters, they are everywhere, in the sense they don't have any recognizable feature as such. They act a lot, they have lots of activity on the stage, but if you look into the plot structure, there is nothing happening there. Means nothing happens, no one comes, it's awful. That is the main theme generally that we discuss about absurd theatre. So when we look into the conventions, the first thing that we should take into mind is there are no recognizable characters on stage. And let us see the kind of dialogues that are generally spoken. What kind of dialogues are they speaking? Interestingly, when you look at them closely, they are just repetitive kind of ping-pong plays. Say, if you have a question, the other will answer it. But sometimes, because of the influence of the existential philosophy and other paradigms of knowledge that we consider along with Waiting for Godot, we will see that the memory is short term. So within a matter of 10 minutes, they forget whatever they were speaking about, the topic that they have been discussing, etc. So what we understand here is, the dialogues, they are just meaningless. They are just meaningless babbles. We don't see them in a structured way as we read in Shakespeare, Bernard Shaw, or for that matter, any master creator as far as drama is concerned. But here, they are just continuous kind of babbling. And if you look into the dialogue spoken by Lucky in the first act, for example, towards the end of the act, once his hat has been taken away, he gets into a very long lecture, and people don't recognize any formal pattern, except there are of course some interpretations possible, but for a layman there are no possibilities of interpretation. What they see is continuous gibberish kind of a dialogue, and there are no meaningful kind of a statement that is available there. That means that is a remarkable feature of a typical absurd drama. As we can say, in any absurd drama, there is no beginning, there is no middle, and there is no end. Means once you look into an absurd drama, when you look into the feature of an absurd drama, you can begin reading the play at any point without affecting much of what is happening there, because nothing happens. The first thing that you have to remember here is, the first act promises something, but nothing is happening there. Like the characters the 2 characters are expecting a person to come, namely Godot, but he never comes in the first act. A boy comes as a messenger telling that he will come, but there is no assurance that he would come the next day or that day. Towards the end of the second act also, we can see that another boy or the same boy coming back, informing these 2 characters, Vladimir and Estragon, that he might come at any time, but there is no assurance. So that way, if you look into the cyclic nature of that particular play, even though there is this what we call as the messenger boy coming at the end of the play, there is nothing like a plot happening. So that is one of the remarkable feature of a typical absurd play. There are, as I said earlier, lots of physical activities going on. Like for example, it is a painful exercise for Asragan to take out pull out his boot, but once he takes it out, he moves on to another kind of thing. They want to separate, but they embrace, and then one character complains about the garlic smell. So there are intense physical activity, there are intense kind of physical kind of demonstrations, and there are lots of punishment, like a series of punishments given to the characters involved. But if you look into the story outline, you can summarize that in just 4 or 5 lines. That is again a splendid, a splendid piece of creativity. Now, if you think that this can be done by any other person, it is impossible. I should say that, because this is the first time that a drama has been able to influence people such a way that without even a story outline, you are witnessing around 1,000 or 2,000 people watching a drama without moving from their seat and getting fully engrossed in this kind of activity. They know that nothing is happening there, but nobody gets bored. A very important thing. And when you look into the hapless kind of a situation that these characters are living, there is no question of faith. You can't think that they are looking for some kind of retribution. They can come out of their state of pathetic condition. No, there is absolute absence of faith as far as these people are concerned, and they have no genuine kind of a desire to overcome that also, because they know that they have become something like cursed kind of a character who have been like cursed to a situation from the situation from which they cannot even move out of that. So another aspect, I should say, as I have referred to earlier, language is a major challenge for the writer also, because it's devoid of any kind of meaning. So that way, the absurdity of human condition is complete as far as this is concerned. Hence, that is why almost all critics, starting from the days in which this was staged, the original drama critics, even up to Martin Esslin, what they say is it's a typical absurd play in which the discussion of existential philosophy has been taken up very seriously. So the influence of such philosophy, existential philosophy, starting from the what we call the theist angle, or from the Christian angle, or the Christian existentialist angle, people know that there is no point of hope as far as the survival of people is concerned. And as you can see, these two people, Ozo and Lucky, as well as Estragon and Vladimir, they are a permanent outcast in a world. They can't escape from this particular reality. They are an outcast from the world. They are looking for some kind of a solution. They are not young. They have been to various experiences, but they cannot come out of that. They are finding it extremely difficult to overcome that. That is why they find themselves as a permanent outcast from the scheme of things, or from where in which they should have been. Plus, along with this, some people call this as a tragi-comedy drama or a tragicomic drama. The reason is partly that this drama talks about the tragedy of the people, the two characters who are involved. At the same time, there is an immense amount of pastime, comedy element that is going on in this play. So that way, people call this as a tragi-comic drama. And when you look into the mental plane, there is something like a psychological reality that is happening. So that way also, this drama has got some significance. Psychological reality in the sense there is an inner mental play, or a mental reality from which people can share so many. People can easily understand, okay, this is what the character is feeling. I too feel like that. It is not just a kind of a mingling with the character on the stage. We are actually realizing ourselves. When people appreciated the play for the first time, Becker was sure of that, even though the actors were not sure. Becker was why to assure that this is going to be a success? The reason is very simple. Whatever that has happened or what is happening to these two characters are felt by a group of people who have seen the First World War and the Second World War and the fragmented state of the total destroyed state of condition that was that the French people have experienced. And that way it talks about, whenever these characters expresses themselves, these two characters express themselves, there is something like a psychological reality that is expressed. So these are some of the outstanding features of, I should say, of a typical the absurd drama, because it is not absurd as such. The terminology can be misleading because it doesn't convey the sense of absurdity as far as the value of life is concerned that we generally attach. That is why it is called an absurd drama. But essentially the message is very, very clear. That is, the meaninglessness of life is obvious. There is no hope. We are just an outcast of the society, and whatever we are going to experience is just a matter of fate, and we are not sure whether we will be successful or not. That kind of a very important aspect has been introduced in this particular play. And as I conclude, let me also make a reference to the kind of change that this play has brought in various countries, especially in a place where, in a place like India or in a place like Kerala, where maybe we have not even experienced what we call as the atrocities of the Second World War. But when this was staged during the 1970s in Kerala, for example, in Trivandrum, our own famous actor Bharat Gopi and Venukuttan Nair presented these two characters on stage for the first time. It became an instant hit because the people who watched it, despite they are far removed from the French situation, they immediately got the idea there. Even though they are not introduced to such a kind of a drama, they got the idea, and suddenly it became a very popular version of this particular play. So absurd theatre has a space, something that we cannot fully challenge, or something that we cannot fully, I should say, reject. It is there. It has its own value in the purview of drama and dramatic theory. And what we have to identify is, just as we talk about Brecht, just as we talk about Shaw, and just as we talk about theatre of cruelty, theatre of what we call as, or the kitchen sink drama, there are different possibilities there, starting from the Oedipus, from the days of Sophocles. This has a legitimate space in the scheme of things, and this can be of some kind of it can still influence a lot of people when they read the drama. Thank you very much for watching this presentation.